Angola's Civil War. A nation caught in Cold War crossfire, the Angolan Civil War was one of the longest and most destructive conflicts in Africa. Lasting from 1975 until 2002, it began as a power struggle between liberation movements in the wake of independence from Portugal, but quickly escalated into a proxy war between global superpowers. Over the course of 27 years, the war devastated Angola's people, economies, and institutions, leaving scars that are still visible today. From anti-colonial struggle to internal war, Angola's journey to independence began with the War of Independence against Portuguese colonial rule. By the time Portugal granted independence in November 1975, three major liberation movements had emerged. MPLA Marxist, supported by the Soviet Union, and Cuba UNITA backed by the United States and South Africa. FNLA, supported early on by the US and rather than unite in building a post-colonial government. These movements turned on each other, vying for control of Luanda and the new state. The Cold War turns Angola into a battlefield. Angola's strategic location and resource wealth made it a key Cold War front. As the MPLA declared control from Luanda, the Soviet Union and Cuba rushed military and logistical support. The United States, aiming to counter Soviet influence, covertly funneled weapons and money to UNITA and FN through South Africa and Zaire. This international involvement transformed Angola's internal conflict into a proxy war, where foreign powers backed opposing factions for ideological gain. Cuban troops, numbering up to 50,000 at their peak, played a crucial role in defending MPLA positions. South African forces invaded Angola from the south, launching military campaigns against MPLA and Cuban troops. Brutality and devastation. The war was brutal and indiscriminate. Civilians were often caught in the crossfire, and both MPLA and UNITA forces were accused of mass killings, forced recruitment, and destruction of villages. Over the years, more than 500,000 people died. Over 4 million were displaced. Landmines were planted across the countryside, many of which remain dangerous today. Schools, roads, hospitals, and farmlands were destroyed or abandoned. Despite immense suffering, peace efforts frequently failed. Ceasefires like those following the Bisis Accords and Lusaka Protocol collapsed due to mistrust and renewed fighting. Natural resources fueled the war. Angola's oil and diamond wealth played a paradoxical role. These riches should have spurred development, but instead, they were used to fund weapons purchases and sustain warlords. The government, controlling oil exports, financed the MPLA. UNITA, meanwhile, smuggled diamonds through neighboring countries to purchase arms. The resulting conflict became known as a resource curse case, where natural wealth prolonged and intensified violence. The end of the war and a fragile peace. In 2002, a turning point came when Jonas Savimbi, the leader of UNITA, was killed in combat by government forces. Within weeks, UNITA laid down arms and signed a ceasefire agreement with the MPLA government. This marked the formal end of the war, and Angola entered a new phase of reconstruction and political consolidation. However, the legacy of war, poverty, inequality, and deep political distrust still affects millions of Angolans. Legacy and modern implications today. Angola is one of Africa's top oil producers and is experiencing urban development and economic growth, particularly in Luanda. Yet, the post-war generation faces significant challenges. Youth unemployment and inequality remain high. Freedom of press and political dissent are limited. Many rural areas still lack basic infrastructure. Reconciliation and memory efforts have been slow. The Angolan Civil War is not just a story of violence. It is a lesson in how external interference, resource exploitation, and failed diplomacy can prolong human suffering. Understanding Angola's recent history is crucial for appreciating both its struggles and its resilience.